Cock 45 here in Texas. We're enjoying our stay in Texas, and we especially are enjoying it because we're getting to shoot some really cool select fire firearms like this PPSH right here, 41 Ppsh-41 Ppsh, okay? And this is my first day to ever fire one, and thanks to Mike from the Machine Gun Mike YouTube channel, we have these at our disposal. We'll put a link in the description so you can go check out some of his other stuff. He's got a lot of cool guns that he shoots, you know, in videos. So we appreciate his assistance. We've had a lot of assistance with a lot of you all out there lending us firearms. Generally, you need to be locally, but if we're traveling, you know, who knows what could happen. Well, we appreciate that, just like we appreciate Bud's Gun Shop doing all they do for us, and Federal Premium. So check out the links to both of those sites, okay? Now, unfortunately, you cannot order a Ppsh-41 at Bud's. Sorry. That's just the way it is, isn't it? This thing was made in 1944 at Malot or Malot, depending on how you pronounce it. And this is the Soviet infantry weapon. They made about, I read that around 6 million of them. So it was a very common infantry weapon of the day, World War II, okay? I don't remember World War II very well, but as I understand, there were a lot of these used, and they were used after that in Korea, and I think even Vietnam. They show up all over the place, you know, once something's been made. But anyway, let me shoot a couple times, because I have a magazine in it, so I've been pointing it in that direction. And let's just fire it, okay? I've yet to fire one of these on full auto. I'll start with semi-auto, a couple of shots. Take the safety off. It shoots a little bit to the left, I think. Nah, maybe not. It's not too bad. Let's try the fun switch. Okay. Cool. That's all right. That's all right. That has a pretty fast rate of fire, as you can tell. You pull this lever down to get the mag out and just yank it out of there, okay? Oh man, that is something. Let's go over here and take a look at it. It's the kind of thing you might make in your garage, okay, or your basement as you look at it. Now remember, it's 1944, the war's going on. But look at that dude. This is funny. I love the safety here. This is like something I might design. You know, you pull that back, and then there's a little lever on top of it, and you push it into that little notch. That's your safety. It kind of looks like somebody's, hey, I don't know what to do about safety. Let's see, I've got an old safety on this shotgun we can pry off, and let's put it on the bolt here, and the bolt handle, and I bet it'll work. But hey, as long as the firearm works, that's the main thing. So this is a cool one. This one is all matching, or I know he has all the matching parts, and maybe replaces the barrel for doing a lot of the shooting, so he won't wear it out. But it's intact, and I think matching numbers. At least he has all the parts. Mike does that do match. So let me show you what it looks like inside. Really a simple thing, kind of like a Sten gun or something. It's just simple in design. You push forward on this. We're clear, of course. It fires from an open bolt, so it's not too hard to determine whether you're clear. And you push up on that, it breaks in half. And this will remind you of an Uzi or something. You know, the Uzi you've got in your safe. There you go. There's the bolt. So it's pretty cool. You know, got an integral firing pin on it, and just not a lot to it. Doesn't really have to be when it's an open bolt like that, I guess. And it fires that the Tokarev, you know, pistol round, the 7.62 by 25. Many of you have fired that probably. Yeah, let's see if I can get this back in there. But interesting little gun. We have had so many requests to fire one of these. I mean, I'll tell you, it may be near the top, and I wasn't as familiar with it as a lot of you are. Even though I'd love to shoot, collect, study World War II firearms and that kind of thing. I guess mostly I've been interested in bolt guns and that sort of thing. But I just wish I could count the number of people who said, do a PPSH, you know, 41, you know, on the channel. And yeah, maybe someday, who knows, when I'm gonna get my hands on one of those. But anyway, thanks to Texas and Machine Gun Mike, I have one in my hand here now, and I'm gonna slip it in the trunk and take it home, okay? Don't tell the ATF, just kidding, ATF, just kidding. Okay, but anyway, this isn't it. I like this thing. I don't know what it is about it. I like that barrel shroud. I mean, is that is cool. That is just a nifty thing, a piece of fire. Anyway, let me shoot the thing. Okay, put a round in it. What else on the side? Reminds me of an SKS and that old Russian finish there, and that red stain or whatever it is they put on there. And what do I know about it? Anything else? It was widely used, and you can imagine the effectiveness of that thing, because you still had a lot of soldiers carrying bolt guns, you know, World War II. And if you had something like this, or the STG-44 or whatever, there were soldiers, you know, that had these, and boy, you had a lot of firepower, no doubt about that. Even though the cartridge is not, you know, it's not a rifle round, so to speak, still pretty powerful. And these mags hold 30, and I think the mags can have a reputation for being finicky. Sometimes they work better if you load them down, as I understand, but that's that round you're familiar with. You've seen, probably a lot of you have fired a Tokarev and are slightly familiar with that. So anyway, that's fairly common round if you've been involved in the shooting sports very long. So the fun switch there, you saw me switch, is right there to the trigger, pull down and back, and it's semi-auto, and down and forward kind of, and it's full auto becomes the fun switch, right? So it's a short little gun too. You know, now it does take a drum magazine. The drum magazines have a history, a reputation for being unreliable unless you really get them tweaked and loaded with the right number of rounds, and then they'll work too, but they're pretty finicky. Stick magazines tend to work a little bit better. 1944, pretty neat. More ammo. Let's see, where's my mag pouch? Oh, there it is, my back pocket. Okay, well, I'm gonna fire 3 mags here if I can stand it. If I can stand it, find some things to shoot out here. Let's put the bolt back. Put a round in. I guess I don't really have to put it on safe for this. I'm getting ready to shoot the thing, but let's do it anyway. All right. That's an interesting. Let's just go full auto. Is it on full auto? Let's see. You push down and back for semi, forward. Okay, now it's full auto. All right, it's not too heavy, so I need to hang on to it. I'll tell you, it's not going to move me right back into you. Ppsh-41. Let's throw some lead, maybe at those cinder blocks. You know what? A Ppsh-41 rather is loud when you don't have your ears on. Okay, let's try that again. Oh boy, leave it to me not to have my ears on when I'm shooting a machine gun. All right, more ammo. Now I won't be able to hear for about 2 days. Let's put the bolt back. Makes it a little bit easier. Keep her down range. Lock her in. We're ready to go. Ears are in. Well. Fun. That is fun. Empty. I have one more. 1944. Here we are in the desert in Texas. Great place to be. Great place to be. All right. Lock her in. We're still on full auto. Oh, there's a 2 liter sitting on the bank. Oh, that thing's a lot of fun. And she's clear. I'm just glad they have 2 liters in Texas too. I was a little afraid they wouldn't, you know, even though I get through Texas every now and then. I thought maybe their 2 liters would be a whole lot bigger, you know, that make it easier for me to hit. But you know, it's Texas after all. But that is pretty cool. Ppsh-41. It's really neat to be able to fire firearms like this because, you know, we haven't discovered yet, at least I haven't, how to travel back in time and experience times past. Not that we necessarily want to experience the 1940s, you know, World War II or anything, but it is possible to experience the firearms. And for those of you, which is most of you, I guess, that's why you're here in the desert with us today, you have some interest in firearms, and so it really is a pleasure to be able to experience the history, you know, of those times, even if some of the firearms might bring back unpleasant memories, of course, depending on, you know, what kind they are. If they're Nazi firearms or whoever made them and that sort of thing. Some people get kind of hung up on the emotional aspects of that, and I can see a little bit how that might happen sometimes. They are inanimate objects though, but they do carry a lot of interesting history. And it's nice that we live in a free country, and I happen to live in a fairly free state, just like Texas here, so we can actually own things like this if we can afford them, and we can go out and shoot them like this. You know, if you're living in one of the non-free states or non-free countries around the planet, you know, this is pretty bizarre to watch, isn't it? But you know, people come out every day and shoot these things. Mike, the owner of these, comes out here and shoots all the time. It's just a normal thing to do. For those of you who are maybe you know, in shock, or you're just a little, you think this is pretty extreme. You know, there are probably a few people. We have a lot of new subscribers lately, and you know, you might not have ever even seen a select fire, you know, firearm. So they're fairly common, and people shoot them all the time on ranges just like this, at 2 liters just like those. So anyway, I'll throw that in. This is a pretty neat gun though. World War II, Ppsh-41, quite a piece of history. You've probably seen them in the movies, and you might know a whole lot about them. It's really neat to be able to shoot one. Again, it's not a masterpiece of craftsmanship or anything, but they were just designed to get the job done, aren't they? So pretty neat, pretty neat. 7.62 by 25. The Tokarev pistol cartridge, and it throws out a lot of them pretty fast. Life is really good. We'd like to thank one of our sponsors, SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute. SDI has fully accredited distance learning programs where you can get certified in gunsmithing or even an associate's degree in firearms technology. Of course, the study includes hands-on experience, which is important, of course. So check it out. Go to sdi.edu or just click on the link in the description. Okay? And also, we'd like to remind you to check out the Hickok 45 Facebook page and the Hickok 45 and Son channel and its Facebook page, as well as Gun Culture Radio on iTunes. Now remember all this, because I'm coming to your house randomly over the next year or two to give you a quiz on it, okay? Thank you.